It is March 26th, Tuesday, and we get into a pretty sad news of Yusuf Nurkic for Portland Trailblazers. We will get into that talk on how the Portland Trailblazers will do for the rest of the season, and will they make a first round pass without Nurkic, or will they just I don't know. We'll get into that in a later stage. Right now, they are sitting in the fourth spot, right above. Or I am losing my mind. Okay, right in front of Utah in the 5 seed. So, and behind Houston for the 3rd seed, but I could have sworn I saw Oklahoma City up there a while back, but then they dropped. Man. But we will get into that. First off, I want to say some happy birthdays. Happy birthday to the great, the legend, the assist leader, John Stockton, and what a player he was. He had like 15,000 assists, 3,000 more than, Jason Kidd, who was in second place for that. And, we're going to get into a talk in a little bit about will anyone in this decade, or in my lifetime at least, will anyone beat John Stockton's record? Right now it stands, and it's been standing since like the 90s. So props up to that man, Hall of Fame, everything. And John Stockton is a living and walking legend for point guards, at least passing point guards. Traditional point guards, ones that run the offense, not the ones that just shoot. Talking to you, Steph Curry. Good point guards put up 9, 10 assists. Not saying that Steph Curry's not a good point guard. I just want him to put the ball in other people's hands most times if he's going to be called a true point guard. He could be called a true shooting guard. But in other news, another happy birthday to the great linebacker still playing, Von Miller. He is turning 30 today. I know Steven would want to talk about that, but Von Miller, A&M, Denver Bronco, surprisingly enough, only has 2 career interceptions. At least that's what the stat thing said, but if that's true, 2 interceptions, that's pretty bad. I mean, for middle linebacker at least, he's done all that, but he was a sack leader, and that's pretty good for a linebacker in their own response. And he is also the guy from the Old Spice commercials. We all know about that. But he is a Super Bowl champion and a Pro Bowler and an all-time pro at the linebacker position. Happy birthday to Von Miller. And he's hitting that mark. He's hitting 30. Steven's going to doubt it, and he's going to hate me saying this, but, the Denver Broncos need to start looking to fill a spot, and they did with Bradley Chubb, but, I mean, we'll see on Bradley Chubb. It was his first year. He needs to get more years under his belt before I kind of put him in that category of Von Miller or, Lawrence Taylor or some of these other greats where we're going to need to watch him for a little bit. But happy birthday to Von Miller. Still remember the day that my Seattle Seahawks beat the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl, which was most likely one of my greatest days. Just watching the Denver Broncos just get their butts whooped. Wish that happened every day. But, it's not going to happen. Well, as now the birthdays are all finished, Yusuf Nurkic and the Portland Trailblazers, he suffers a compound leg fracture, and you just hear that compound and fracture together, and you hear a leg, and it just makes you want to grab your own leg and brace for dear life, roll in an armadillo position or something. But it's serious, y'all. He's out for the season, maybe out for most of the next season, depending on how the surgery goes. We will have more news on that. But right now, it's a compound leg fracture, and the Portland Trailblazers are right now in desperate need of a center. They've got Enes Kanter and Zach Collins and Myers Leonard, um, but you really rely on Enes Kanter and a 3 year, I think it is. It's his third year maybe, and Zach Collins, who's not a proven center, and we all know the Portland Trailblazers are good at the guard position, but they're not good at the center position, and so losing Yusuf Nurkic that would help them move into that second round of growing potential as a center really hurts them in a lot of runs, mostly because now they have to bring up their backup, Enes Kanter, in for him, and Enes Kanter is good on his own respects, but he is getting up to that age, and New York wouldn't have put him down on the bench for nothing. So, but Enes Kanter can get the job done. But when you take a look at it, they're going against, if the playoffs ended today, they would be going up against Utah, and Utah will run over them, especially Rudy Gobert, run over Enes Kanter and Zach Collins. And then if you move into the second round, you got, or if you move into the second round, you got either the Warriors, maybe Denver as well, and then you got Oklahoma City or San Antonio. Those are two pretty good teams. You want San Antonio if you're going to move into the second round, but you're not going to get them. You're most likely going to get Golden State. Golden State has DeMarcus Cousins there. DeMarcus Cousins is DeMarcus Cousins. He's not going to lose to Enes Kanter. And then Zach Collins if you put him on him. So, it's kind of a Portland. You cease to amaze us. How just, simultaneously, never mind. We'll be able to have not enough talent and still make the playoffs, and then we're all rooting for you, and then you just fall. But Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, they just need one more piece in there. They just need one more piece. Maybe a small forward, or they grow big and they go into the middle with a center. But that is still to be answered, that question, if the Portland Trailblazers will head into free agency or into the draft and get a center. DeAndre Jordan, he is on the list. And they could possibly get him. DeAndre Jordan in Portland would not be a bad combo. Lob City in Portland to go along with Yusuf Nurkic, but they do need this free up salary space because they are they're just giving out money left and right. And Portland, please give me some if you're going to hand out money like that. But Nurkic, that's a need for the Trailblazers, and they're not going to have him. So, as we move into the next talk, I want to talk about John Stockton, the assist leader, and we'll see if anyone beats it. Nothing's happened yet. I talked about it earlier. Jason Kidd is 3,000 assists behind John Stockton, and John Stockton averaged 10.5 assists per game. He was a walking double-double. Played for Utah his whole entire life. Had Karl Malone to just kind of just rock off to. But, Jason Kidd, great assist man, great point guard. He is number 2 on that list and 3,000 behind. That tells you just something about John Stockton. That just tells you about him. He's just a great assist man. And I also think James Harden started a little too late in his career to just start passing the ball. And Chris Paul has been in the talks of being there, but he's not going to make it. Obviously, he's slowed down. Russell Westbrook's a little far down, but he's not going to make it. There's not a lot of guys in the NBA today that can make it. And the NBA is not really a passing game anymore. It's a shooting game, and isolations and all this. So, I couldn't. Until the league changes again, which it will, back to passing. Yeah, you're not going to see too many people reach that level of greatness, beating 15,000 assists, 15,806. Beg my pardon. That's almost 4,000 more than Jason Kidd, and that's an outstanding number by John Stockton. But hey, I don't think it will happen anytime soon. So John Stockton, you could say that he could probably die. He's not that old. He's 57, but you could say he could probably die before his record goes away. That's how safe it is, pretty much. But the closest guys are all retired. So what does that leave us there? It just leaves us nothing. With hey, John Stockton is the greatest point guard of all time, and people didn't treat him that way. If you ever watched the USA Dream Team show, how he just walked off the bus and just took a video camera with his Dream Team shirt on, and his family is just walking through, Barcelona, or I think it was Barcelona, and he's not even getting recognized. And then he pulls up on a lady, and she's just like, oh, I like this person. He's like, oh, that, and the kid says, oh, I like this guy. That's my dad. And, hey, props to the dude. He wasn't that recognized. But he is a great point guard. He didn't make the dream team for nothing, so props up to him. It's your birthday, John Stockton. Hope you love it. Keep assisting in life. Keep winning. So, the stat of the day goes to Devin Booker. This is a stat of the day that is kind of on the same instance of bad and good. Basically because, he's the 12th guy this year to make it to 50 points in a game. But then also you have the fact of the matter that his team let him do all the work. 59 points and 4 assists, that's not bad. But when you take a look at the starting lineup, Dragan Bender had 4 points. Malachi Bridgers had 1 point. DeAndre Ayton had 9 points. And Melton had 0 points. Devin Booker just out of nowhere just had 59 points. Their bench was trash as well. Jimmer Fredette had 6. Troy Daniels had 7. Kabuku had 4. Rashawn Holmes had 2. And the Suns put up 92 points. Great respects out to Devin Booker. He's a scoring leader. He's a scoring master. He just scored up 59 points. Props up to you. But, don't you want to bring in the other part of the team? This team has potential. DeAndre Ayton used to put up 20 points per game. This team has definite potential, but they're going to get the first pick, and John Morant is there. I've heard a lot of people say that John Morant's going to go to Phoenix, and that's a good fit. It's a good fit. But, we've seen so much talent go to Phoenix and still not be able to produce. Besides Devin Booker, Josh Jackson's a talent. He had his struggles, but Josh Jackson's a talent. He didn't prove anything. We saw, DeAndre Ayton. He's had a slow rookie year, and he's the first pick. that guy was the #1 draft pick, and you think Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, they're making at least a little bit of headway. They're not going to be the first pick in a draft next year. I mean, we still got the lottery to play out, but hey, they're not going to have a chance for that first pick because they're just going to be better than they were. They're just going to keep building. They're going to be in the lottery, but they're going to keep building. It's going to be a slow rise, but they're going to keep building. No, they're back at the bottom still. They've been eliminated from the playoffs for a while. They've been down deep in the rough for a while, and you're wondering what's going on in Phoenix. Is he trying to build a superstar team, or is he trying to build a dumpster fire? Because if he's building a dumpster fire, that's what he got. And, you know, when you looked at Phoenix and you look at Philadelphia, when both these teams, you know, just slashed their team in half and they went and rebuild, Phoenix is doing it differently. Kind of looks like. Phoenix has been dead since, you know, well, I mean, they had that one good year, but they didn't make the playoffs. They came close, but they didn't make the playoffs. And then they stripped that team, I mean, the year after, and they had problems. But, I mean, you just had one guy. Get rid of Isaiah Thomas in that roster, and you still got a pretty good team. Or get rid of Dragan Bender, or not Dragan Bender, Goran Dragic. You know, get rid of him, and you still have 2 point guards. One could maybe play the shooting guard. You still got a good team. Actually, I was thinking of Brandon Knight. No, it's Eric Bledsoe, Isaiah Thomas, and Goran Dragic. None of those guys can probably play shooting guard. Maybe Goran Dragic, but none of those guys can play shooting guard. So, scratch that. Your team was trash. Nice try, bringing in 3 guards. Portland's already struggling with 2 guards. 2 guard superstars. Houston is the model of 2 guards. And a lot of teams are trying to replicate that. A lot of teams are trying to replicate Philadelphia as well. They're trying to replicate Boston. A lot of teams are just trying to strip every last little sheet off the wall and just try to start over. But the Phoenix Suns, what was that? 92 points, and no one made it over double digits except for Devin Booker. And you played 10 guys on your bench. And none of those guys made it to double digits except for Devin Booker. And you put up 92 points. That's pretty sad. Don't know if it's coaching staff, or if it's just the players, or if it's the GM, or if there's just something mellowing in Phoenix that, you know, when the vents put out the air, something stenches. Something smells in Phoenix. It's a foul stench. That's what the Phoenix Suns are. They're a foul stench. And you better be praying that the lottery goes your way and you get the first pick again, because, dang, that team is trash. But they say they don't want Zion Williamson, and I guarantee you don't want Zion Williamson, because you look at Zion Williamson, and I'm going to explain myself on this. He's compared to Josh Jackson to me for quite a few reasons. He's not a shooter. He's a slasher. He kind of plays that small forward, power forward position. Josh Jackson doesn't play power forward, but he plays small forward. And both these guys don't shoot. They're slashers. They drive to the rim. Zion Williamson is obviously 2 times bigger than Josh Jackson, and he can get to the rim. He's kind of like LeBron James. He just bulldozes over everyone. But hey, they're kind of the same type of player, but 2 different body types. Can Zion Williamson work in Phoenix? And either they're wrong about it and Zion Williamson will work in Phoenix, or he won't. But right now they don't have him on the radar, and I kind of see where they're going with that. But Zion Williamson will probably go to New York and attract Anthony Davis, and then you got 2 ginormous dudes playing in the Big Apple. And from anyone's perspective, if LeBron James also went to New York instead of LA. Those are like the three biggest dudes in the NBA all on one team, and they're just going to bulldoze over everyone. But this is not New York, so let's go back to Phoenix. Phoenix, John Moran is a good fit for you. No matter how much I don't want to see him in a Phoenix uniform, because dear God, help us if John Morant somehow be's a DeAndre Ayton or a Josh Jackson and just completely flops. Devin Booker's still with no one. And then sooner or later he's going to be calling the front office, be like, hey, I'm demanding a trade. Yeah. What is going on in Phoenix? Trash. Just trash. But he is the 12th player this season to go over 50 points, so congrats out to you. That is your stat of the day. I don't want to talk about that anymore. But on this day in history, the UCLA Bruins won their 7th straight title under John Wooden and Bill Walton. They had a lot of great guys on that team except for Bill Walton. Some NBA talent. They had 7 guys on that roster. But 7 straight title. No one's ever going to do that again. So, that should be the stat of the day. But I just chose Devin Booker, but because I can put this in as on this day in history in sports. But that's a pretty killer stat. That's why John Wooden, when you think of great coaches, you just think of John Wooden immediately, and then Adolph Rupp, and then you got probably Dean Smith in there. But John Wooden has a trophy named after him. He is the man. He is the man. He's the classical guy with the suit and tie, and you think, yo, he looks nice. And that guy knows how to coach. Because he does. He knows how to coach, but he's a walking legend. 7 NBA players. The big one being Bill Walton. That, for their 7th straight title. Great props out to you. As we wrap up the show, games to watch for tonight in the NBA game. My Houston Rockets go up against the Milwaukee Bucks. That one's at Milwaukee. And the last time Milwaukee came down to Houston, that was just trash. That was a game that I just said, oh, Houston has a chance, but then no, they don't make it. James Harden gets hit in the head, and you blame the concussion then, if you're a Houston Rocket fan, for losing that game late. But it's time for redemption. It's time to win in their place and still climb for the top seeds. Both teams still trying to climb. Actually, Milwaukee's trying to stay at top. Houston trying to climb to the top. They're only a few games back in the Western Conference. San Antonio and Charlotte. Charlotte not eliminated quite yet, but they could be if they don't win tonight against San Antonio. But they are at home. That is a key. San Antonio also trying to stay away from the 8th seed because they're not too far from dropping all the way to the 8th seed if they lose this game. So big implications in that. We'll see how it all fares. Obviously, it's going to be a touching moment between Tony Parker and Greg Popovich. But as we move into our final game for the NBA, Detroit and Denver, both those teams are on different sides of the map, but both have playoff implications. Denver trying to catch up to Golden State while trying to keep away Houston, so they need that win. It's at home, so clear advantage there. But Detroit is trying to keep up with Brooklyn, who won last night against the Trailblazers. But at least I'm pretty sure. I need to go back and check that. But I mean, they're trying to keep up with the Brooklyn Nets, and so no, the Trailblazers won. I'm sorry. So that gives Detroit all the advantage tonight to win, and they need that win desperately. Still, like 6 or 7 games left in the NBA, so Detroit needs to win. but Denver also needs to win. So these are your games to watch for tonight. Obviously, one of those on TNT. I wish the Detroit-Denver game was on the second half of the TNT doubleheader, but instead they chose a Star Watch between LeBron James and Bradley Beal and the Washington Wizards. They're trying to get viewers, and I mean, I'm trying to as well. But that is your NBA watch for tonight. NHL games to watch. There's two of them. Hurricanes and Capitals, defending champs at home against the Hurricanes, trying to keep it alive in the Eastern Conference, and dang well they can make it there. They're almost there. And also in the Eastern Conference, Islander at Blue Jackets. So two great NHL games tonight. So, watch them if you don't want to watch NBA. So, y'all have a good Tuesday, and I will see you on Wednesday. Don't forget, on Friday is the Wake and Bake Show with Steven and Jake. Start your morning off right, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.